Good afternoon. Yeah, I had the honor to be very good friends with Dr. Atamjit Singh for the last 12 years. And this friendship started when Dr. Avatar Singh introduced me to him one afternoon in the engineering building. And after that, the friendship became so strong and so regular that he would every day, almost every day, call me in the morning and ask me to, he would say in Punjabi, he says, Saleem sahab, aao tuhanu coffee pesh kariye. And which for my non-Punjabi friends, he would say that, Saleem, come on over and I'll offer you a cup of coffee. And this tradition went on for almost 12 years, yeah, until his death last year. And during coffee, I would see him, I would see the poet in him, the philosopher in him, and a very thorough educator. I would see him like that. And I would see him as a really good friend and a good person. And as a doctor sometimes, on his funeral and on his memorial service, I mentioned how he was my doctor also, my physician, I would say. And he would mention a few like home remedies which my family still uses for cough and cold. And then he was a saintly man. Yeah, there is no doubt about that. As I mentioned on the memorial service, because of my absent-mindedness, one day he just remarked. He said, Saleem, you've shown your full absent-mindedness today. The university should promote you to a full professor. And within 2 months, yeah, the reason I called him a saint, within 2 months, I received a letter from the president saying that I have been promoted to full professor. Then as a person, he was such a sweet man, an innocent man, and a friendly man. He would always say, that Punjabi is the language of Punjab. It doesn't have to be Lahore. It doesn't have to be Multan. It doesn't have to be this side of the border or this side of the border. It's a language which we all share, and we should cherish it. We should learn it, and we should practice it over here, because his philosophy was that language is the backbone of a culture. And many we used to see each other almost every day, 12 years, and those little things and little anecdotes, if I keep on talking about them, it'll easily take me more than 2 minutes, 2 minutes or 3 minutes. But there was one time I visited Pakistan, and I brought along, from my village, I brought a PD, those of you who understand it, a PD, like a four-legged seat, just about 6 inches higher than the ground.
Low stool.
Like a stool, you could say a stool, a low level, like about 6 inches higher than the ground. And I mentioned it to him. I said, Dr. Saab, I brought a PD along. And he, being a linguist and also being a Punjabi, a literary person, he just started talking about the PD. He said, do you know that you brought the entire Punjab with you? And I said, I just brought a PD, I didn't know that. He said, a PD is the beginning of a day in Punjab. That the person who churns milk, churns butter, sits on a PD, and that's where the day starts. And he said, then butter and milk is churned, and then lassi is made from there, and then someone carries this lassi over to the farm, and the farmer drinks it and has his breakfast over there. And this little thing you brought is actually the contributing factor for the health and prosperity of Punjab. And the whole day goes on because of this little thing you got. And being a linguist, I mean, he would give unusual examples of words and things that I could not, I could not comprehend or could not easily think on my own. As a person, his overall innocence is something I should mention, that there were times when we would go to the campus cafeteria and he would buy me a cup of coffee or maybe a donut, sometimes lunch. And then while paying the cashier, there was actually more than one time, he paid the cashier some extra money. And the cashier said, "Professor, why are you doing it?" And he says, "I remember 2 days ago I came here and I had forgotten to bring my wallet, and you let me take the food without paying for it." And I would always say that this man is so innocent, and also he has a certain amount of firmness on his face, that even the cashier knows that he will come back and he will pay later. It's something which usually doesn't happen in restaurants here. That you want to have some food, you want to pay for it right there. But Dr. Atamjit Singh he had the authority to pay later whenever he wanted, and I enjoyed it all the time. Then, as a person, also one other incident which I recall, and Dr. Atamjit Singh already knows, that he some 8 or 10 years ago he visited Rawalpindi. He visited Pakistan, and he went to Rawalpindi, where he had grown up. As a child, he used to go to school over there. And he said, "I located my home, and I knocked at the door. And the family who was living there now in Rawalpindi, they came out and they saw us. They said, 'Yes, sir, we've heard about you. Come on and sit down. The men are all gone, but they will soon be here.' And he said, we waited there for 10, 15 minutes, and the men came back and they greeted us. My friend Atamjit Singh and his wife, both of them were there. And the family greeted them. And then after a minute, the owner of this house came back with the keys of the house. And he said, 'Dr. Atamjit Singh, these are keys of this house, and this is a house that belongs to you.' And he used to mention this story a few times, and I was always so touched by it. I said, this man, even though he didn't go there with the intention of claiming a house, but he had that attraction or that trust with the family in those few minutes, that the family was able to come in.
They packed gifts for them.
And then they said, after he said I rejected, I said, "No, these keys belong to you, because we don't live here anymore. We moved to Punjab. We moved to East Punjab." And he said, as we were leaving, the family also brought gifts for my wife, and said that if you were here, your wife would be the bride of this house, and she deserves these things, and some jewelry and some clothes. And I used to be always touched by the things that he said, and he used to view the world from a really, really pure angle. And I miss him. I miss him during these last 4 months that he is not with us. I have never gone to a coffee shop on campus. Yes. There was only one time that his son Pankaj came over, and I mentioned this to Pankaj, and Pankaj said, "I'm going to buy coffee for you today." So there's only one time that I have been to a coffee shop, but it's something that the Punjabi treasure and the poetry and the philosophy that he took along with him, we will always miss him. I wish to thank Agha Saab for organizing this event, and all the honorable guests who were on the table here and who were on the floor also, and friends who have traveled all the way from Ohio, from Toronto, Canada, and from Chicago, and from other places, from all over California. Thank you very much.